The U.S. government is praying to stop the innovation of the dangerous hydrogen motor, with many companies and countries investing a lot of money in this clean fuel. It seems like a good idea, right? But only 1 in 4,000 new cars that hit the road in the U.S. in 2021 is hydrogen-powered. Hardly a booming business, you might think. But there's more to the story. A recent U.S. government report cast some shadows and made a shocking revelation. So what about hydrogen? Is it the game changer we've been waiting for? And is it that good for sustainability? Let's find out. Hydrogen, the first element on the periodic table, is a versatile powerhouse. Mix it with oxygen, add a spark, and voila! You get water and a burst of energy. No carbon dioxide, no harmful emissions, just pure, refreshing water. It's like driving on nature's refreshment. But hey, let's not get too comfy. We're not giving up the hunt for the drawbacks just yet. There must be something to nitpick, right? Now it's time to uncover the truth behind the hydrogen revolution. Hydrogen, the gas of the future, or just a ballooning idea? Let's face it, carrying a Zeppelin behind your car isn't the most practical way to transport hydrogen. So we compress it under intense pressure, about 700 times atmospheric pressure. But here's the catch. 1 liter of hydrogen only packs 1/6 of the energy of gasoline. More liters, more distance. But hold on. Don't dismiss hydrogen just yet. When it comes to energy per mass, it's twice as efficient as gasoline. Those high-pressure hydrogen tanks add some weight to the ride, making hydrogen-powered cars slightly heavier than their gasoline counterparts. But hey, it's not a huge difference, and we're all for the greener drive. Now let's talk tech. The hydrogen fuel cell game has been around for over 2 centuries, dating back to the 1800s. But it wasn't until the 1960s, thanks to some genius engineers at General Electric, that we cracked the code with the pontoon exchange membrane. This nifty invention keeps hydrogen and oxygen separate, allowing safe and controlled reactions. Hydrogen fuel cells have been soaring through space, powering missions to the moon and quenching thirst on the International Space Station. But back on Earth, they face some challenges. The fossil fuel frenzy kept them in the shadows. But times are changing, and a greener future awaits. Hydrogen, the fuel of the future, has been vying for the spotlight for a decade, with companies like Hyundai and Toyota leading the charge. BMW, Ford, and other giants are gearing up to join the hydrogen car revolution. And it's not just the automotive industry. Governments like Scotland and Germany are eyeing hydrogen to power their transit systems. Meanwhile, the UK, with its mere 12 hydrogen car sales in 2021, is a bit of a bummer. But let's not lose hope. Globally, the hydrogen market isn't as bleak. Around 16,000 hydrogen-powered cars found new owners in 2022, with 3,500 hitting American roads. It may just be 1 in 4,000 new cars, but hey, it's a thriving niche. The future gets even brighter with ambitious plans like Repower EU, aiming to replace billions of cubic meters of imported Russian gas with hydrogen in the EU. Impressive, right? And it's not just Europe. The hydrogen frenzy is spread worldwide. Countries like Japan, Canada, Egypt, China, and the US are diving headfirst into hydrogen production. A Texas-sized project called Hydrogen City, fueled by solar and wind energy, is on the horizon. But hang on, we're not done with the buts. The biggest question looms. Where does all this hydrogen come from? While hydrogen is abundant in the universe, finding it on Earth isn't a grocery store run. Most of our hydrogen is locked in water or methane, making it a challenge to harness. So is hydrogen the fuel of the future, or just a fading dream? The answer is far from clear, but one thing's for sure. The hydrogen hype is sizzling, and we're all eagerly watching to see if it'll ignite a greener, more sustainable tomorrow. Let's talk about hydrogen, a storage system, not an energy source. Breaking those chemical bonds to obtain pure hydrogen requires energy, making it all about the production method. And guess what? Scientists have a color scale to keep track of it. Picture this. Naturally occurring hydrogen is pure white, while hydrogen from water using coal or lignite goes back to brown. These methods emit greenhouse gases like carbon dioxide and methane. Ouch! Gray hydrogen derived from methane and water also releases carbon dioxide and some sneaky methane. Almost all hydrogen worldwide is currently produced using fossil fuels, with 95% falling into the black, brown, or gray categories. That's a whopping 830 million tons of CO2 per year. Think air traffic emissions. But the hydrogen window has more colors. Enter blue hydrogen, Made from methane, but with a clever twist. The carbon dioxide is captured and tucked away underground, keeping the atmosphere clean and pristine. Hyped as climate-friendly by the industry's Hydrogen Council. But there's a twist. This council, created by oil and gas bigwigs, might have ulterior motives. Don't take their word for granted. Curious minds asked, and American researchers dug into it. They weighed not just carbon dioxide, but also methane, a real greenhouse gas heavyweight. The verdict? Gray hydrogen emits 550 grams of CO2 per kilowatt hour, and blue is only slightly less at 486 grams, almost like burning natural gas directly for electricity. So why the disappointment? Well, not all carbon dioxide from hydrogen production is captured, and the storage process itself produces emission. Even under the best-case scenario, they could reduce it to around 200 grams with renewable energy. But it's still not stellar for climate protection. Here comes the hero. Green hydrogen, produced from water, powered by renewable energy, no emissions, zero, zip, nilch. That's the true climate-friendly option we've been waiting for. Green hydrogen and fluctuating costs. You might think green hydrogen is the perfect climate-friendly solution, but researchers from Australia did the math, and although it's theoretically better than gray hydrogen, in reality, emissions are comparable due to the pesky solar fluctuations. Wind production could suffer even more since it's less reliable. And here's the kicker, it's expensive. Producing hydrogen with solar and wind is the costliest method out there. Sure, tech might improve, but with energy input fluctuating, it's doubtful it'll ever compete with dirty hydrogen. But wait, there's a pink and purple savior. Nuclear power. Generating hydrogen this way could fix the fluctuation problem, but it's not a popular choice. So we're in a bit of a pickle. Hydrogen's climate friendliness and cost are up in the air, and that's just the production costs. Will we find a sustainable, affordable solution? Keep watching, because this hydrogen story is far from over. Challenges and surprises. In the world of hydrogen, we've got some juicy challenges ahead. First up, the infrastructure problem. Fueling hydrogen cars isn't as simple as pumping gas. We're talking about high-pressure, specialized stations. Just can't pop into any old place. Then, the water supply debate. Yes, water is essential for hydrogen. But don't worry, researchers say it won't cause a drought. Phew! But watch out, freezing temps can freeze your dreams of hydrogen cars. Now, the biggie, the precious metals. To build those fuel cell membranes, you need the likes of platinum and iridium. Fancy, right? But hold on, they're rare and expensive. We might need some serious brainpower to tackle this issue. Platinum and iridium are the VIPs of hydrogen fuel cells. But there's a catch. These metals are rare and tough to replace, so the entire hydrogen economy rests on their availability. Talk about pressure. And guess what? Most of the supply comes from just 3 countries. No more colonies to help out. China's already feeling the pinch, and we're just getting started with the hydrogen game. By 2030, the demand for iridium could skyrocket, leaving us in a tight spot. Not to mention, hydrogen's a tricky customer. It's so small that it wreaks havoc on tank walls, making them brittle and expensive. Hydrogen embrittlement is a real deal-breaker, requiring thick, costly tanks and inconvenient handling. And let's not forget the carbon footprint issue. Most hydrogen production still relies on fossil fuels. We've heard so much about the potential of green hydrogen, but let's get real for a moment. Will it truly be the knight in shining armor to slay climate change? Now, picture this. A world where wind and solar team up with hydrogen to fight the good fight against fossil fuels. Sounds fantastic, right? Well, not so fast. Hydrogen's journey to economic competitiveness seems like a winding road, with fossil fuels still reigning supreme in the affordability department. But don't lose hope just yet, because we've got a contender. Nuclear power steps into the ring, raising its hand as a possible solution. Could this be the answer we've been looking for? Perhaps, but building the necessary hydrogen infrastructure will gobble up a lot of cash. It's like building a highway to a greener future. But, you know, money doesn't grow on trees. And wait for it. Here comes the curveball. Brace yourself for a rare metal supply problem on the horizon. You see, the hydrogen fuel cells might face a bit of a scarcity issue, making the technology's affordability a bit wobbly. Not exactly music to our ears. But let's not stop there. Keeping hydrogen stored and under pressure comes with a hefty price tag. And boy, does it make those systems heavy. So if we're thinking about zipping around in hydrogen-powered vehicles, they might not be too thrilled about cold temperatures. Not cool, hydrogen cars. With that said, Thank you for watching. Be sure to hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for more. And if you found this content helpful, give the video a like. See you in the next video. Till then, take care.